Hello, this is Bijan with Atlanta Spanish Immersion. We're here outside of Forsyth Central High School, and we have the opportunity to come visit them, to connect with some of the Spanish teachers here, and as well to talk with Monica Phelps, who's an AP Spanish teacher here at FCHS. We're gonna get some of her feedback, her experience, and as well her to talk a little bit more about the logistics of what it takes to organize these one-on-one online conversational sessions. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to actually talk to some of the students as well during our time here. And that's really it. Let's go inside. Good afternoon. This is Bijan with Atlanta Spanish Immersion, and we're here with Monica Phelps, who is an AP Spanish teacher here at Forsyth Central High School.
Yes.
Monica, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for inviting me, Bijan.
Yes,
it's a pleasure.
And I know it's busy with being a teacher, with planning, grading, managing your classes. So I appreciate you having taken time to let us just ask you some questions about your experience working with us over the past 4 years with supplementing your curriculum with one-on-one Spanish conversational practice sessions. And I would say, would you say it's tutoring, or would you say it's more conversational practice sessions? If you were to tell...
Conversational practices. And it's like cloning me into different Miss Phelps with your teachers, because they are doing exactly the same what I asked them to do. So
in regards of like what you would do one-on-one with a student, you're able to have our teachers become like assistants for you.
Exactly. But doing it the way that my students are used to my teaching. The same
following
way.
how,
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more, like what is it that you do with your teaching that?
Well, for example, I have provided for your teachers the books that I use, the dialogues. So when they are here in my class, they've been practicing it as well with your teachers, as well as the monologues, the themes that they have to be asked about. The monologues are, they need to speak for 2 minutes, two full minutes.
And
they need
exam.
to compare the US with a Spanish-speaking country. And they're from 6 different basic themes, that the AP College Board requests. And from that theme comes a lot of different themes. So I have provided for all your teachers everything, all of them, and they do it.
And they're able to follow?
Yes, I love it. So I'm the one who thanks you for being here, actually, because you have helped me tremendously and helped my students as well.
Cool. No, that's great to hear, because I know Valeria, she's not here with us, but she's our academics director that's overseeing a lot of this.
And she's been amazing. You better keep her because it makes my work a lot easier with her, working with her.
Awesome.
Really. I mean, she answers, like, I just text her, hey, what about this, what about that? And immediately she answers back, and I love that.
Beautiful. No, and I would say, so to give everybody context, I'd love to talk about how we started working with each other, and I think it was back during the pandemic in 2020. I think it was from Dr. Patrick Wallace, who sent out an email that we were offering, free conversational practice or tutoring to schools in Metro Atlanta. And I know you received some kind of email, and I think that's how we got in contact. What kind of made you interested in wanting to, because like sometimes when I tell how we're working with Forsyth Central, some people have never heard of something like this, but we're essentially offering or providing one-on-one online conversational practice sessions. But then what gave you the idea to try this out in the beginning?
Well, first of all, why not try it out? There was no downside with this. I went to the one who was my principal, Mitch Young, and I went and told him, hey, look at this. I'm getting free classes. I'm getting free class for my students. You don't have to pay a dime. And it gives the opportunity for my students to practice, with these teachers. And something very peculiar about Mitch is that he is open-minded, he's innovative, and he's like, Monica, there's many benefits for the kids. So absolutely, if that's gonna help you with your curriculum, with your teaching, go ahead and try it out.
Yeah, and this was like, yeah, I remember, I think like May, April of 2020, we just had started the pandemic. So the kids were online. And so it was one teacher, a group of students, and you don't have that face-to-face interaction.
Exactly.
And now fast forwarding to like 21, 22, now we're in 2025. The students are here in the classroom, but there's still challenges with being one teacher with 15, 20, even I know some teachers have like 30 students in a class. What would you say is some of the general challenges of being a world language teacher? Because for me, I see it as you're not just teaching a subject, you're teaching a human-to-human communication skill, where there's components like listening, speaking, reading, writing, and there's a lot of the theory, the grammar, the vocab that you all have to teach in a semester, but then not just teaching it, the students have to practice it, right?
Exactly. Well, you see, with all the writing, because they have to write an email and they have to write an essay, and with that, there's no problem. I take my work home, and I grade that. But when it comes to a dialogue, they have to have 5 prompts, and they're asked, and the students have prompts.
It's very spontaneous. They don't know what they're gonna get.
They don't know what they're gonna get, and it can be like respond negatively. Now ask for details, and express like emotion. And so this is something that, I'm very grateful that we have this language lab, but the downside of that is that they don't get my feedback until a day or 2 later, depending on how I'm with my work.
Yeah.
And here with your program, the teachers are giving immediate feedback, and that's what is so beautiful, because they are saying the dialogue, and when they finish, and that's something else that I've asked your teachers not to interrupt them, because on the test they're not going to be interrupted. So I want them to do the full dialogue, and when they finish, to then say, and as they're speaking, your teachers are typing all the, where they could better themselves.
Corrections or...
And so when they're finished, then they tell them at the moment, okay, look, when they say respond negatively, it also says this other prompt to say, give another idea. You forgot to give the other idea. Yes, you're right. So it's immediate feedback. With me, I type their mistakes or where they can improve, but it's a day or 2 later, and
they don't remember what they said.
They're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, thank you. It's not as effective as it is one-on-one. Because it is so difficult to give individual assessment in a classroom full of students, in a classroom environment. It's so difficult to give them an immediate feedback. And
it's exhausting too.
It's exhausting, yes.
I mean, how many students do you have, like 15, 20?
25.
25, AP? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good bit.
Yes.
And like...
Well, and I've had 88. 88.
But in multiple classes?
In multiple classes,
okay,
yes.
But then, so, but yeah, even like in one period, having 25 students, having to sit with each one.
Yeah, I would have to be in my desk with them going one-on-one. It's so difficult, and this way, I don't want to do it because then I miss instructional time. But this way, with your program, what I love is that I send 2 to 4 students at a time, and I
during their instruction time.
During my instructional time. Now, and you might think, oh wait, but they're missing their teacher's class. No, because I leave Wednesdays and Thursdays we have block days, which is an hour and 40 minutes more or less. I don't have class on those days. I don't have your conversational class on those days. So it's only Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays. This is something I have learned through the years.
Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays when they have the conversational practice.
And in those days, what I do is we're also recording, so the other ones get to have my feedback typed. Or we're reviewing over something that they have already learned. So when my kids go to class, they're not missing instructional time that is like something new. It's just review. So what I have learned is that I teach them the first semester all about the test. how to write an essay, the email, the dialogue, the monologue, and do all the 65,
the sessions,
like the session of the 65 questions, the multiple choice questions.
like practice tests.
With practice, yes, all that. So when January comes, they know already about the test. They know the format. They know the sequence. They know everything. Now what do they need? They need practice. So that's what we're doing with them. Well, these kids go to the class so they don't feel like they're missing out.
So your students, like student A, would know when their conversational practice sessions are for that week on
Yes,
Canvas?
I share with them the calendar. And I love that because this has happened to me. Students have come and they say, oh, señora, you put me down for Friday, but I can't Friday because I'm going on a field trip or I have this or that. Oh, thank you. So I go and I switch the names, so that
in
helps
the calendar.
me. Yes, I go and switch the names on the calendar, yes. Which is the same calendar that I share with Valeria.
Is it in the Excel sheet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, so this way I change the name and your teachers immediately in Argentina, they see the name that is different. And, it just goes smoothly.
So what would you say, and I think this is just to give context to other Spanish teachers here in Metro Atlanta or at other school districts that could be interested in something like this. How hard was it to set this all up? Like to get it logistically, because if you have 25 students that you want them to do this once a week, how hard is it to get them on the calendar? Because we've been doing this for 4 years now, and it's a lot more smoother than when we first started. I think going back, from setting this all up, how hard was it for you?
The first time, it was challenging, obviously.
Yeah.
It's something new. But you get the gist of it. I mean, then you realize, okay, I'm not gonna send one student one day, another student the other day. I have realized that it's much better to have 2 to 4 students to go at the same time at 8:35 to 9:05. That's their 30 minutes.
8:30 to 9:05?
8:35 to 9:05.
Okay, so for 30
Yes,
minutes,
that's for 30
4
minutes.
students are in there.
And
Or in different spots
in
doing
different
it.
spots.
With
So
4 different teachers.
what I need to have is a place for them. I want a place where they feel safe, where they don't feel like someone is, that there are other students and they feel like
They're listening
nervous,
to them. No, they can just
they're
be
timid about-
relaxed and practice the language.
Exactly. So I just find those 4 places, and these are AP students, so they're not like, oh, I'm so worried that they're gonna take off somewhere. No, they're excited to take the class. And besides, a great thing is that I also click on the link that they're clicking to go to the teacher, and I just go and click on all 4 links, and I see them that they are working with each teacher. I know where they are. So they're still supervised. In case someone thinks, oh, they're not being supervised. Yes, they are. I'm looking at them. I can see it. I just put mute, obviously, on my side, so they don't hear me. But my student knows I'm there. My student knows I'm there.
Yeah, if they need anything.
As well as the teacher knows I'm there. And so that's how I know that, they're supervised. Even though, again, they are great students. These are AP students. These are students that
they want to progress,
to get their credit, and are excited to go to your classes. They're excited. They say, "Señora, it's amazing." They go from being all timid and speaking very quietly to then, "Okay, clase, vamos a poner atención." Y la señora Phelps, and I'm like, "What just happened?"
Really?
And this happens every year. And when before I would say, "Oh, could you help him?" They go like, well. And now, yeah, what do you need? ¿Qué necesitas? ¿En qué te puedo ayudar? And you're like, oh, wow, that's amazing. I love it. But that's because that's what your classes provide. They provide security, confidence, their self-esteem. You see even they're like, I can conquer this.
No, and I think, thank you for sharing that, because I think it's sometimes hard to explain the importance, because nowadays there's all these apps out there, which are fine. They can help you, like Duolingo, Rosetta Stone.
Those can never replace what your teachers do.
Yeah, because you're having the opportunity to connect with another human in the language that you're learning, Spanish in this case, and really practice it in a spontaneous format where, yes, we have the prompts and like a structure of following the AP exam guidelines, but then, you know, having somebody to give that feedback right then and there to the student as they finish their prompts.
That's the key, Bijan. That's the key. It's immediately. The feedback is immediately. They get it. And not only that, your teachers, they type.
So they can see it too.
And they also
read
type
it.
the corrections. So guess what? I have those corrections. So what do? I print them out and I give it to them. And they're like, Señora, thank you, gracias. And I'm like, no, gracias to maestra, ¿verdad? Because she was the one who.
And like I would say too, like to put myself, if I was a Spanish teacher, you know, and seeing, you know, a vendor come in, like say, hey, we want to supplement your curriculum, I would be a little scared, or like, hey, like you're gonna try to take my job. It's nothing to that degree.
No, I felt like, yes, extra help.
Yeah,
Yes,
like we want to be
whatever can help my students to succeed.
That's the end. That's the end of the goal, and just to be a complement or a complement to supplement what you're doing in your classes.
It supplements my teaching, exactly.
And
yes.
I try to give people the example, like if you're in orchestra or in band, if you go to your like music class without the instrument, and I'm just watching the instructor play, yeah, I might learn the theory, but if I don't have the instrument and actually play it,
exactly.
Or if it's a sport, I'm watching somebody throw, or you know, hit a baseball, and I'm not actually having the bat and holding it and practicing it, I'm not going to get any better. And with language, it's the same thing. If you're not actually practicing it with natives, we're going to give you feedback. And obviously a teacher can give the more technical feedback and like explanation, but sometimes just having a native to just correct you.
To talk to. Exactly.
And just correct you, and then just through the repetition of getting the correction can help you learn how to correctly speak or say things in the right way. So no, I really appreciate you kind of giving us your feedback on that, and as well sharing your experience about it. I think it would be really cool, I think two things. One, for you to share any other experience, or if to the camera here, to let any other teachers know who might be thinking about you know, bringing this program, you know, conversational practice sessions to their students, what you would tell them if somebody's, you know, thinking about it. I think that'll be the first one.
Try it out. You're gonna love it. For real, really. It's been exceptional. The improvement is just phenomenal. And you see the student coming in. I just love watching them come in and they go like, yeah, you know, you see them so excited. You even see the students saying, oh, my favorite teacher is this one. Oh no, well, mine is this other one. Well, you maybe you haven't had her. And you know,
that's cool.
And I'm like, this is good. This is great.
And they're bringing the language to life.
Yes, and you know,
they're
like
meeting real native speakers.
And like I said from the beginning, why not try it if you're giving us free classes to begin with, you know, for them to try it out?
Yeah.
I thought, I've got nothing to lose. And like I told Mitch Young, you know, I said, hey, we don't have to spend a dime, you know, and let's just see what happens. And he, like I said, he was amazing, saying, hey, this can only benefit
Beautiful.
our students. And it sure has. Do you know, last year, I mean, our students here at Central, they're amazing, okay? They're wonderful. And they just about, it's always 100% passing. But with 3s, with 4s, and 5s, okay? And since we started with your classes, the number of 5s and 4s began to be more and more.
Awesome.
Last year, Bijan, 100% were 4s and 5s.
Beautiful.
100%. And you know, the difference to the other AP classes, you have to score a 5 in order to get one class, credit class in college.
Yeah.
Well, not with a foreign language class. If you get a 3, if you score a 3 with your on your AP test, you get 2 classes. And I'm talking about UGA and Georgia Tech.
Okay.
2 classes. If you score a 4 or a 5, they don't care if you score a 4 or a 5.
You still get
same
the
credit,
same.
3 classes.
Beautiful.
It's amazing. So there's a lot of incentive for them as well, you know, because they're thinking 3 teachers, not to deal with 3 teachers, 3 books, 3, with 3 teachers to deal with quizzes, the tests.
Yeah.
And I told them, you just need to deal with me. How wonderful.
No.
So,
Well,
yes.
perfect. No, I appreciate you sharing that. I think what we love to do now is just, you can show us a little bit where you put the students, just to give
Sure.
people a visual, and I think we can go from there. I don't know.
Okay, I just, that's just one thing. My recommendation to teachers is number one that I have learned through the years.
Oh, please,
First
yes.
of all, is to have a spot where she's gonna have he or she's gonna have their teachers.
The
their
students.
their
Yeah.
students. I place a book that even says in English, do not remove. Why in English? Because in case another person comes in, the janitor, an administrator, I don't know, and they see a book, not that they would fool around with anything,
Yeah.
but it says, do not remove this book from this place. So this way, when my students go to their classes, their book is there, the AP book. That's number one. Number two, I have, what I have been doing is I write their names on the board. As soon as I come to class, I write their names for their class. So when they come in, they see their name. They know what spot it is because it's A, B, C, D when there's 4 classes, or A, B when it's just the 2 of them.
Okay, on the
and
board.
they know where are their 4 spots. They know that's A, B, and in the other building is C and D.
Got it.
So they already know. So if I see that that kid is not here on time, classes begin at 8:35. If the kid is not here, and they know that, if you're not here at 8:25, I'm switching your name. I give someone else the opportunity. And guess what? They're like, yes. They're like, Señora, so-and-so hasn't arrived. I'm like,
wow. That's
so, I mean, they
look forward to it.
They look forward to it.
Beautiful.
So that's another thing that has helped me. Third thing is that I have the calendar on Canvas, and I make it accessible to my students. So my students
Can
will
access
see ahead
it
of
and
time.
see it.
They can access to it ahead of time. Those are 3 things that are essential to make it smoother.
Is it hard managing all that? Like, I know we have 100 hours we give you guys for the semester or for the year. You use it all in the spring.
All in the spring.
Is it hard to manage it with your students, or to make sure?
The first year, like I said, it was like, but the second year, let me tell you, I got it, how to do it. Because you see, I am the one who schedules the classes, not your teachers. I'm the one who says, so many students on this day, so many students on this other day. So that flexibility, Bijan, it's amazing. Because if you were a company that said, no, you need to have 4 kids every day, or...
Yeah.
No, I'm the one. So on Monday, I may have 2 students. On Tuesday, I may have 4 students. Depending on the month that I'm doing, I change it. So Valeria, who's been amazing, she just has the 4 links for A, B, C, D. And next to the student's name, it says A or B or C or D. And so they know, oh, I've got D, I go to D link. Okay. So, so excited because of the first year that went with you, with your program, that I went to the Spanish 4 teacher. I teach Spanish 4 as well, but there was Miss Valdez, who teaches Spanish 3-4. And I even said, Miss Valdez, how about if I use some of the hours with you? So this way, her students, when they came to my AP, they were already prepared.
Got it.
So that's how easy it really is. First year, yes, it's a little bit challenging, but it's
you learn more or less how to manage the hours.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So now, Monica, you're going to show us a little bit into your world during the madness of a school day, how you facilitate or show one of the areas where you delegate students to take the classes or the conversational practice session. I know we have a little room here. Did you want to take us in real quick?
Well, before going there, I just want to tell you something else I do is that I ask the teachers who have planning I have AP classes during first and second period. So I look for the teachers who have planning on first and second period.
In your department or just abroad?
In my department, that's enough. But if I need it, I've gone to also with the next door teacher.
The art teacher here.
The art teacher. And they're also willing to help.
Beautiful.
So I asked them, hey, during your planning time, would you mind having a kid will not bother you? He or she's just going to be with their computer. Would you mind if they go to your classroom and take a class? And they're like, shh. Absolutely. And then they say, wait, am I going to have to make copies? I'm like, that's fine, because I'm watching my student anyway from my computer.
Beautiful.
So they have those spots, and I set those spots always. I always like to have 4. And when I have just 2 students,
Like 4 areas of the school where you can.
and that are here close by, one here in front, one next door, and then here in my classroom as well. So I would love to show you. Look how nice they get up.
Let's go.
And they just come here. That's the art classroom where they go.
So the art class. So this is like kind of like a hallway that connects both.
Yes, yes.
Oh, cool.
And then this is where I have their chair. And in every classroom that I have set a place for them, they will have a book that says like this, not for my students, but I have it in English for people who may come and they don't know what.
So the student knows that this is where they're going to do their class.
Yes, absolutely.
And the student has their own computer? Every student has their own?
They just go into my cart and they grab their own. The moment they arrive at 8:25, they know they need to go straight
here?
They go straight and grab their Chromebook. And they sit down until I tell them, you can go now.
And I know you have like A, B, C, D, E. Is this
A.
A, so then the student knows, hey, this is where I'm going to go 8:25.
Yes.
They sit here.
Yeah, and they just log in.
And they just hit the link and then they're good to go.
And they're good to go.
Okay.
And the link is on Canvas for them, so they just, next to their name, it's the A, B, C, D, and then they click on the link.
Awesome.
That corresponds to that.
So it's really just having the idea, like what are the rooms that are available? Because the school's big. Like these.
Yeah, but I have them nearby. I don't let them go.
Yeah, you don't want
too
them to
far.
go too far.
Yes, yes. And before, of course, we start with classes, I practice with them. Okay, guys, let's say that I'm teacher A. So where are you gonna click? And so then they see me. So I click on A, and
then they kind of have like a practice run.
yes, but of course I cannot log into that A because that's the teachers from Argentina. So I create my own A, B, C, D. They don't know.
Yeah.
I create my own A, B, C, D, and so I'm like, okay, you have A, click in there. Oh, here we are, and they're like, oh, okay. So just so they have a little practice with that.
Perfect.
Something I do always, also that I forgot to mention, the first time they have a class, it's just 15 minutes. So they can ease their nerves.
Just kind of get to know the teacher.
Yes, so they can get to know what they need to do, and they just have a little dialogue.
Yeah.
And that has proven to really work for them. And then after that, it's always 30 minutes. And something else I do is when I make my schedule, I go ahead and I count the number of hours that we're having on that month. So this way, I don't go over my hours.
Yeah.
Or maybe under.
But you have the class tracker too, that like that Google sheet that you can see the hours, or do you have your own?
I make my own calendar that works for me. And
just to keep track of hours taken.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. Monica, thank you so much for letting us come here into your classroom to share a ton of information about your experience over these past 4 years. Supplementing your curriculum with our online one-on-one conversational practice sessions. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to say to close this
Give it
interview?
a try. You're gonna love it. In fact, you're gonna be begging your principal to allow you to take these classes, because it's gonna be so beneficial, not only for you as a teacher, but for the students. You're gonna see huge impact, positive impact on them. I have, and I love it. I cannot go a year without your classes.
Wow, gosh, no, thank you.
That much, I love it. Really.
No, we appreciate you partnering with us on
Y
this.
muchas gracias a ti, Villan, por tenerme aquí.
No, con mucho gusto. Gracias, Moni.
Gracias.
So this concludes our visit here at Forsyth Central High School. We hope this video was helpful and insightful to give you some insight of how it looks to work with us in planning these one-on-one online conversational practice sessions. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'd love to understand more about your curriculum, what you're trying to achieve in these sessions for your school or district. And that's really it. We hope to talk to you soon. Muchas gracias.